What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be looking at exercises for a condition called metatarsalgia, which involves pain and inflammation in the middle part of the foot. So if you look down at my foot, the metatarsal bones are these 5 long bones that run forward just behind our toes. When people have metatarsalgia, they'll feel pain through this region. It could be mostly on the top of the foot. A lot of times people feel it kind of on the bottom of the foot. So if you've got pain in that region, then stay tuned for today's video. So with metatarsalgia, when we're thinking about treating this issue, one of the most important things to do is to help take stress off of those metatarsal bones. Oftentimes when people develop this, it's that they were participating in activities that put more stress on the metatarsals. So maybe they were walking around barefoot more. It could be that you were wearing shoes that have a high heel, so high heels or just other shoes. When we elevate the heel, it puts more force onto our metatarsal bones. It could have been that you had shoes that had a narrow toe box. So those are all things we want to change in the beginning when we're treating this issue. So we want to make sure we have shoes that don't have a big heel. We want to make sure they have a wide toe box. Another thing to think about is, obviously you could just change your shoe wear and get something like a Hoka or something that's more supportive, has more of a cushion. You also could add insoles to your current shoes to add more of a shock absorption effect to help take stress off of the area. Another thing to consider in the beginning phases with something like this, it is an inflammatory condition, so anti-inflammatory medications can be helpful. Another simple strategy is just to use ice. We know in the research that ice can really help to reduce pain and can help reduce inflammation. So just taking ice cubes, putting them in a plastic bag, and a couple times a day, kind of spending time, maybe 10 to 15 minutes, icing over your metatarsal region can be helpful. You can work on the bottom of the foot. There are a number of layers of muscles on the bottom of the foot, so the ice has to penetrate through more tissue. You might have a better effect if you put the ice right on the top of your foot over the metatarsal region. There's just less tissue here to work through, so this can often be a good place to ice it. So again, maybe 2 to 3 times a day, just get an ice bag like this and ice the area for 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, so in this video, we're gonna look at 3 release techniques and stretches that can help reduce this pain, but it's really important to also figure out your shoe wear to make those modifications so that you don't continue to irritate the region. For our first technique, we are going to work on releasing the layers of muscles in the bottom of the foot. As I mentioned, there's a bunch of muscles down there. There's actually 5 layers of muscles. So I'm gonna take a soft tissue ball here. This is a pretty simple pinky ball. I can put a link in the description if you wanna get one of these. You're going to put this on the ground. We do this technique a lot for plantar fasciitis, but it can also help with metatarsalgia. So take that ball, put it down on the ground, and then what I'm going to do is massage all those layers of muscles that basically run from the front of my heel up to the balls of my toes. So that arch space, I'm just going to kind of stand. I'm going to balance near the wall with one arm and then just work through slowly releasing and massaging those muscles. You don't want to push too hard and irritate the metatarsal region more. So just play around with it, find the right pressure for you. You want it to kind of be a hurts good type of pressure, a moderate level pressure. It shouldn't be more pain than a 3 out of 10. So just work through the region, try to work on releasing those layers of muscles. In a lot of cases, reducing that tension in those muscles can kind of help to reduce some of the acute symptoms you might be experiencing with this metatarsalgia condition. This is something I usually tell people to try and do every day. You can really do it as much as it's helpful. Usually people will spend a couple of minutes, maybe 1 to 2 minutes working on this. And again, you could do it several times throughout the day to help reduce pain. For our second exercise, we are now going to stretch those layers of muscles on the bottom of the foot and the plantar fascia. Again, loosening up that area can help to take stress off of the metatarsal region and reduce pain. So for this one, you're going to sit with the affected leg crossed over the other leg. And what I'm going to do is take my hand and pull all of my toes into dorsiflexion. So I'm pulling them up, and then at the same time, I'm going to pull my ankle into dorsiflexion. So I'm pulling it up. Think about it's the opposite of pointing your toes, or pointing my ankle. So I'm going to pull my toes up into dorsiflexion and then pull my ankle up. And you can see it puts tension over this area. So I'm just creating kind of a light, gentle stretch on there to help, again, stretch those layers of muscles on the bottom of the foot, but also the plantar fascia. Increasing flexibility here can help to take stress off that metatarsalgia region. This is another one that you can perform every day. I would hold the stretch for 30 to 60 seconds. and just perform it as much as it's helpful. Maybe you perform it 3 to 5 times each day. Okay, so that's our second exercise, a plantar fascia and deep muscle stretch. For the last exercise, we are going to make the previous stretch a little bit more intense. So we're going to still work on the plantar fascia and those deep intrinsic muscles in the foot, but now we're going to add the calf muscles to the picture. Our calf muscles run down and attach into our Achilles tendon, and then we have fascia that wraps onto the bottom of the foot. Another area that if your calf muscles get tight, it can contribute to the development of foot pain and metatarsalgia. So what I'm going to do here is use a tool here called the fasciitis fighter. I'll put a link down in the description for this as well. If you can't buy one of these, you could always find something at your house, maybe a 2x4 or something. What we want to do is elevate the big toe. So I'm going to put my toes, some of my other toes will be on the pad as well, but the primary focus is elevating my big toe because that immediately puts some stretch on the plantar fascia. So what I'm going to do with my big toe elevated is I'm going to step forward and keep my knee straight and stretch my calf muscles. So I'm moving forward, kind of lunging forward until I feel a stretch in the back of my leg in the calf region, and you probably feel it wrap all the way down to your Achilles tendon and maybe even down to the bottom of your foot. I kind of feel it a little bit through that whole region, and that's what I'm looking for. So again, I'm looking at a 30-second to 1-minute hold to really stretch the calf muscles down through the fascia, through the Achilles tendon, down to the bottom of the foot. And again, maybe in the neighborhood of 3 to 5 times per day. So this is a knee straight calf variation. This will target a little bit more of one of my calf muscles called Gastrocnemius. I then can do the same thing but bend my knee, and this will target a little more specifically the deeper calf muscle, which is called Soleus. It's actually our bigger muscle, generates a lot of force, is important in a lot of daily tasks. So I'm going to do the same thing, toe elevated, bend the knee, really move my ankle forward into dorsiflexion and look for a stretch in the back of my leg and near my Achilles tendon. So again, 30-second to 1-minute hold. I would recommend performing both of these variations, the knee straight and the knee bent, several times throughout the day. Okay, so that is our last exercise, basically a stretch for our gastrocnemius and soleus muscles, but because we have the big toe elevated, it also helps to target the plantar fascia and the deep intrinsic muscles of the foot. Thanks for checking out today's video. I hope the information and exercises help you. Also just want to mention that my book is available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble and with all major bookstores. It has programs for the most common conditions. If we look back in the ankle and foot chapter, there is a plantar fasciitis program. So even though it's not a specific metatarsalgia program, this program has all the exercises we covered in today's video and more that can help with metatarsalgia. All of the programs in my book are broken into 3 phases and have pictures of me doing all the exercises. Essentially, the programs allow you to do your own rehab at home. Each body region has its own chapter, so if you'd like to check out my book, I'll put a link for it down in the description. Thanks again for checking out today's video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.